So in the recession, it's more essential than ever before to delight your customers. People buy from people, and they're not going to turn down people as readily if they really like you. They're going to fight for you to keep you in there, but you have to have business impact. But as far as customer experience, CX is customer experience. CX is every single interaction you have with I'm not finding a lot of words, who your customer, every interaction your customer or your prospect has with your company, every interaction. So in the development side, the person who answers the call center that asks you the same question 10 times, to the receptionist, if we had them anymore, every single time someone interacts with your company, that's customer experience. That's an interaction. What's interesting is there was a study done, and the question was, are you exceeding your customers' expectations? And I think it's shocking, but 80% of companies said, yes, we're exceeding our customers' expectations. So everyone thinks they're in a rosy place. That's scary because this was a very broad survey. The reality was they went back to the customers and said, are your vendors exceeding your customers' expectations? You know what the answer is? It's 8%. It's horrific. We think we're delighting our customers, but we're not. And that's where you need to make sure you are, but that's through also asking questions. And so we'll talk some more about that. But this is essential because recurring business is a great model. It's not great if they're not delighted. It's not great if you're not meeting their expectations. And so your goal really is to exceed expectations and make sure that every bit of recurring revenue that you have, you're going to get next year when people are tightening their buckle, they're tightening their budgets, and it's going to happen. So we need to make sure we're meeting expectations and we're driving that impact. Here's how we're helping your business. You can't get rid of our solution without losing all of that positive business impact. So push impact over and over and over again, because that's going to keep you in the budget, but also exceed their expectations. Just meet them, but look at that huge disconnect. And so with customer experience, this was a very large study that was done. And how important is it? Well, after one bad experience, just one, 33% of your customers will switch because they can. Unless you're super, super, super sticky and they can't get rid of you, there are options. And one bad experience, 33% of them will leave. Could you afford for your business to go down by 33%? Absolutely not. So that customer experience becomes essential, that everybody, this is a team sport. Everyone in your company, development, manufacturing, marketing, sales, the person who's sending out the invoices who refuses to do it the right way and ticks off your customers, the guys who are over there in receivables who are cranky and get upset when things are a day past due, everything has got to exceed expectations. Because one bad experience, and they say, I hate working with those guys. I hate it. We have an opportunity to switch. Oh, your brother-in-law owns that company. Let's talk to him. I'd rather do business with him. These guys are terrible. This one person ruined it in receivables. One bad experience and they leave. After 2 to 3 bad experiences, think of how many opportunities there are to have a bad experience. You got the person doing receivables. You got the call center that drives you crazy. You got somebody who gave you a stupid answer one day. 2 to 3 bad experiences, as small as they might be, 92% switch. Who can afford to lose 92% of your business? That's why CX is such a big deal. And that's why companies now have CSMs on board. And all of a sudden, that's one of the most important jobs, because it's all about delighting your customers every single day. And it's talking to them what's working, but more importantly, what's not. What can I do better to serve you? And when you ask your customers that every time you talk to them and you're serious about it, they're going to remember you, because 80% of them stink, right? So 2 to 3 bad experiences, 92% switch. Make CX the top thing for everybody in your company. Recession, times are good, times are bad. You cannot afford for your customers to switch. You need to talk about business impact. You need to make sure you're delivering on that business impact. And how can I better serve you? How can I be your best vendor? That's my goal. I want to be the best vendor that you have. Another survey said that 70% of customers believe their vendors don't care. Oh my gosh, for the people on this call, you can be in the top 30% of all vendors, because you do care. And you tell your customers, thank you for your business. We really appreciate it. And what can I do to better serve you? I want to be a long-term partner of yours forever. What can I do to better serve you? You will stand out. You won't be in that terrible 70%. And this is where it's a team sport. Because of CX's every single interaction that you have with a company, or the customer has with a company, every single employee makes a difference. Every single one of them. Everybody's got to care about your customer. It's a recession, it's bad times, even when it's good times. Every single person within your company, every employee makes a difference. One bad experience, you could lose 33% of your business. So team sport, everybody plays. And during a recession, you can differentiate so easily by exceeding their expectations, by talking to them, making sure they have no bad experiences, and driving an impact on their business. So how do you do that? It's just simple, but I can't tell you how many companies that I work with that when I go in, they just don't communicate. They sell to somebody and they send their salespeople off to go get the next account. Yay, we closed a deal, we won. Now go get the next one. Wait a minute. Who's making sure that they implemented the software, that it's not shelfware? Who's making sure that it has an impact on their business? Who's making sure it was integrated successfully into their environment? Who's making sure that this was successful? Because I want that person, one, to renew. I want them to say positive things about my company, and I want them to expand and say that made an incredible impact on my business. I want to roll it out in every single division I have across the world. That is exponential land and expand, which we'll talk more about. I got to watch my clock. But that's where you really significantly grow your business. So how do you do that? Just communicate, ask them, review with them what's going on. The other thing that is shocking to me, and I've worked for a lot of very, very large companies and some small ones, but people do customer satisfaction surveys. And they get the survey and they file it. And then we do it next year and we take it and we file it. Sales rep never hears another word about it. They're measured to go get those customer sat surveys done. They never hear another word. And the customer is pouring their soul out saying, these are the problems I'm having. This is what I think. No one's doing anything about it. Salesperson doesn't know, so he or she can't do anything. When you get feedback and you say, what's working, what's not, how can I better serve you? And they give you feedback, follow through. That again will differentiate you over the majority of companies, big, really big and small, because they just take surveys. And maybe someone in corporate is doing a phenomenal job of addressing these things. And maybe they're addressing all of them, but no one bothered to tell the customer, thank you for your feedback. It means a lot to us. And by the way, we've got a committee working on that right now. And when I have a result, I'll let you know what it is. Thank you. And then next year, they'll give you more feedback because they know you cared and you listened. But why do you think vendors or customers say vendors don't care? They give them feedback and they never hear boo again. They never hear a word back. So you've got to arm your salespeople with, here's, thank you for the feedback. Here's what we're doing to solve that customer's problem. Let them know. Share what actions you're taking. Share the progress that you're making. You need to let them know we listened, we heard you, and we're doing something about it. And thank you for your feedback, because we want to be your best vendor and we want to exceed your expectations. Getting a customer sat survey is a total waste of time if you don't communicate back. It's not just about you, it's all about them. And then NPS surveys, which is where they rate on a scale of 1 to 10, would you recommend us to someone else? Again, did you bother to tell your salesperson that they rated you a 9 or a 10? Because if they did, they're willing to recommend you to someone else. There's a sales rep going, wow, I heard you're willing to recommend us to someone else. Would you recommend me to this other department? That's easy, but we don't do that. We just take the surveys and we put them in corporate someplace and say, yeah, we got a bunch of 9s. Whoo, I need to follow up on that. I want to really make sure that I keep them as a 9 or a 10. If they're an 8 or below, that means you have room for improvement. Who's telling the salesperson or the people who interact with the customer, here's where we need to improve. This is what we need to do. So focus on getting the ratings up by better serving your customers. If they're in a lower range, they're not sticky, they may not renew, and you could very well lose the customer. And this is, in a SaaS model, it's all about the renewals, making sure you get it the highest percentage of renewals possible. And not only renewals, but the upsell and cross-sell, which we'll talk about. Okay, so communications, continuous intelligence. You want to keep hearing back from your customers all the time. How are we doing? What's working? What's not? How can I better serve you? What are their initiatives? Are there other initiatives within the company that we might be able to help you with? Are there other areas in the company where this solution, which had this impact on you, would it be beneficial in other areas? How can you become a bigger player by impacting their business in positive ways, increasing revenue, reducing costs, or whatever your value prop is? You want to have regular reviews. Again, many companies, too many, go out, they send the sales guy out, they go sell the product. As soon as they're done, go sell this prospect over here. Never to be heard from again. Regular reviews. You can hear, QBRs, quarterly business reviews. I call them executive business reviews. They don't always happen on a quarterly basis. Maybe they happen monthly. Maybe they happen biannually. Whatever it is, you need to make sure you're having regular reviews. If the review is picking up the phone, that's good too. It doesn't have to be formal. It's calling them up and saying, just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. How's it going with the implementation? I'm working with you, Mr. Developer. How's it going? Is it working? Is it not working? Do you need me to get one of my tech guys on the phone with you if you run into a snag? How can I help you to get this thing implemented to get the results you're looking for? And oh, by the way, one of the things we like to do is have quarterly business reviews. And oh, this might help you too, because we like to have it with your boss and their boss and other decision makers, so that we can get this thing renewed next year when it comes up for renewal. And we need to again show the impact and let them know all the great things that we're doing. But we also want to find out how we can better serve your company so you get that renewed software next year. Having those reviews with the key stakeholders is really good, because they spent the money. They don't ever hear about it again. The developer doesn't come in his office and go, man, this is the coolest thing. It works really good. They don't hear about it. They just signed the check. If they hear then, this is the impact we had on your business. We were able to achieve growth of this to this. We were able to have cost savings of this to this. We wanted to just review with you what the business impact has been and how can we better serve you? Are there problems you're having in the company that we can better serve? You're going to stand out from other companies because you communicated, you reviewed, you showed them the impact on their business. And many cases in these QBRs, because they own a bigger part of the business than your developer over here does, they say, you know what, this is amazing. I've got this other division over in Shanghai. I've got this other division over in Canada. I would like to have you talk to those people too. It's a great way to expand your business. You're not coming in selling when you're doing a quarterly business review or having a phone call review. You're just asking how things are going and how you can better serve them. And I understand this is the impact on your business. They're the ones who often come to you and say, can you talk to other people in our company and show them what you did here? Because that's amazing. And you saved us a ton of money. I want to replicate that model. So that's part of that land and expand, communicate. And the higher you can get up, the bigger the budgets are going to spread across the organization. So deliver the outcomes. They said, this is the outcome I want to achieve. This is what they expected. And this is what you actually achieve for them. So deliver the outcomes, never overpromise and underdeliver. Undercommit and overdeliver. You want to make sure that what outcomes they spent that $30,000 for, that they achieved that outcome or better. Make sure all along the way, because when the renewal comes up and they say, hey, should we renew this? No, because we didn't get what we expected out of it. You don't get that renewal. It's your fault, right? You could have fixed it if you'd addressed it earlier, 3 months earlier, 6 months earlier, 9 months earlier. But on the day of renewal, it's too late to find out that you did not deliver on what you sold them. Go beyond meeting their expectations, and wherever you can, exceed them. Thank your customer. Let them know you value them. Let them know that you're just not collecting checks from them and that you're interested that they just closed the last deal. Thank them for their business. And how can I better serve you? Customers are our most important asset. What can I do to better serve you? And then providing extraordinary service and support. That thing about one bad experience, I'm sure we've had maybe one bad experience calling a cable company or, your phone company, your cell phone company, and you get put on hold, there's pause, and you go, I am never working with them again. I hate it. Whenever I have a problem with my television and I have to call the cable company, I have to wait till later in the day when I have a glass of wine. Think about your experience with these customers. Make sure that every employee in the company knows delivering extraordinary service and support is critical. Otherwise, we're at risk of losing 33% of our business. And then ensure everyone, again, is focused on that. It's not just the support team that needs to make it a great experience. It's everybody needs to make it great. So that's how you deliver great customer experience. That's how you get renewals. And that's how you work on this land and expand.